They say that there are roughly 6 people in the world that look like you. Out of 7.8 billion, that makes you pretty unique.
Why are you the way that you are?
But what if I told you that there are some kids in the world who are literally one of a kind? Don't believe me? Well, get ready to have your mind blown, because today we've done some digging and compiled a list of the 10 most unique kids in the world. Let's get started. Kaylee Halko. Imagine having someone hit the fast forward button on your lifespan. What would you do? Let it defeat you, or pick yourself up and live life the best you can? When most teenage girls are worrying about school, makeup, crushes, or having a social life, Kaylee Halko is dealing with a completely different set of problems. She's worried about her survival. Born with a condition known as progeria, Kaylee is aging extremely rapidly. Now, even though she looks 8 times older than her actual age, she's committed to living her best life. She gained a large following on the popular app TikTok, where she mostly posts clips of her lip syncing. She also has a faithful Instagram following of over 200,000 people. Now, unfortunately, those with her condition often don't make it past the age of 14, but Kaylee is certainly pushing through. Her Instagram is full of glimpses of her adventures, and she continues to inspire people all over the world. Ramses Sanguino. At the mere age of 4, Ramses was able to solve complex equations and speak several different languages. At 13 months old, he could already speak Russian, and by the time he was 2, he had learned Japanese. He was solving algebra equations and complex math problems by 5. How does he do it? Well, Ramses was diagnosed with autism, and according to his mother, he also shows signs of being telepathic, meaning he can read minds and transmit his thoughts.
He's making me do something.
What is he making me do?
Of course, whether this is true or not is being investigated, but in one of his videos, Ramses can be seen reading his mother's minds as he recites a set of numbers that she had written down secretly. But skepticism aside, we can't deny that the little guy's accomplishments are phenomenal. In fact, researchers at Johns Hopkins University have taken special interest in Ramses. They're conducting a series of tests and experiments to see if they can figure out how he does it. Considering it takes most adults months or even years to figure out basic algebra and learn a few words in another language, Ramses sits in a category of less than 0.1% of the world's population with his brilliant intellect. JULIANA WETMORE. Known as the girl born without a face, just 1 year after her birth, Juliana went viral and everyone took an interest in her condition. She was born with a condition called Treacher-Collins syndrome, and she's missing up to 40% of the bones in her face. She has had over 45 surgeries before even turning 12. All of these surgeries have been to construct and develop a face so that Juliana can do simple things like eat and even smile. The young girl is determined to interact with the world around her. She learned sign language and has a hearing aid to help her. She attends school and even tries to talk, though it may not always be understood. When asked, Juliana says that she is very satisfied with her looks and she doesn't want any more surgeries. However, she may be getting more surgeries to help her eat better and to improve the appearance of her cheeks. Juliana's parents were also inspired to adopt a girl who has the same condition. They adopted her from an orphanage in Ukraine and named the little girl Annika. Angus Palms. The real-life Benjamin Button. Now, a lot of kids act older than their age. You might even have been one of them, often regarded as having the mind of an adult in a kid's body. But in the case of Angus Palms, it isn't an act. He actually stopped growing when he was just 3 years old. Today, he's 13 and still has the body of a toddler. How can it be, might you ask? Well, Angus actually has scientists stumped. His condition is so rare that it doesn't even have a name yet. The only thing doctors know for certain is that it's a chromosome abnormality. His parents believe that Angus might be the only person in the world with this condition, which would make him 1 in 7.8 billion, if this is actually true. Now, although Angus can't walk or talk, he manages to communicate by pointing his index finger and thumb, along with grunting. His mother has accepted that her son will always be dependent on her, but is determined to make it work out. Luciana Wulkan. Imagine if day by day you were losing your ability to move. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, for Luciana, it's reality. Her condition is so rare that it isn't just 1 in a million, it's actually 1 in 2 million.
I'm 1
one in a million.
Her muscles are gradually hardening up, and you could say she's turning into a real-life statue. She was diagnosed with this condition at just 2 years old, and as of recently, she can only use her left hand, as her right hand has completely fused. When Luciana was younger, she would have to be extremely careful not to fall while playing on the playground, as this would result in the hardening of more muscles, on top of being extremely painful. However, what makes Luciana really stand out is her attitude. Her situation is undoubtedly devastating, but Luciana doesn't let it affect her life. She still maintains a social life and is striving to earn her degree to further her education and land her dream job. You could say this teen is one of the most inspirational kids around. Isaac Hughes. Imagine going through life without ever being able to show your emotions. Well, maybe if you've got an extensive amount of plastic surgery, you don't quite need to imagine it. But in the case of Isaac Hughes, he was born with this condition. It's called Moebius syndrome, and it causes facial paralysis. His situation is so unique that when he was first diagnosed, there wasn't even a name for it yet. He had a hard time eating when he was a baby, and also had very little muscle tone when he was born. Isaac struggles with moving his eyes from side to side, and he needs assistance when he's trying to move. As you might have figured out, he also struggles with communication. While he can't talk or show emotion like the rest of us, he has become really creative in communicating. Isaac will mime or use a sign. His friends and family regard him as an extremely intelligent kid who doesn't let his disability get the best of him. His parents stress that if you can't understand him, tell him, and he'll figure out a way to get his message across. Even though his situation is rough, he always finds time to make people laugh. AUDETTE. Ever heard the saying, you spend 9 months waiting for the baby to be born, then you spend the next 9 months wanting it to go to sleep? In the case of AUDETTE, she's every parent's worst nightmare. She only sleeps about 90 minutes per night, and the funny thing is, she doesn't need any more than that. She was born with a rare condition called Angelman syndrome, which is incurable. The positive side to her condition is that she's always happy and full of energy. The one downside is that she won't be able to speak, but is learning how to communicate as she gets older. Ever also always manages to maintain a smile on her face and is not completely aware of her limitations. Her parents have also taken on an active role in researching Angelman syndrome and unlocking the answers to its mysteries. FAYAZ Ahmed PARRAY. Now, most of the kids you're going to meet in this video have either developed their condition as a baby or were born with it. Now, sometimes the hardest thing to conquer is a sudden change of events, when you're living a regular life one moment and then everything turns upside down. Disaster struck FAYAZ when he was just 4 years old. He was playing cricket with his older sister when he found an unexploded shell and didn't know what it was. They both then used it as a ball to play cricket. FAYAZ hit the shell with his cricket bat, and in a split second, everything changed. The explosion took his sister's life and shattered both of his legs. His legs were amputated from the knee down, and he spent about 3 months in the hospital. Despite dealing with tragedy, FAYAZ still dreams about becoming a professional cricket player. Today, he's wearing prosthetics and even manages to move around without wearing them. He has a ways to go before he's old enough for the big leagues, but he remains positive and continues to work hard. SOPHI Green. Adopted from China when she was just 2 years old, SOPHI has an ultra-contagious smile. Her elder sister Lexi was also adopted with her and is blind. What makes SOPHI truly special is not only the fact that she was born without arms, but she figured out how to use her feet as hands, and she does so with incredible precision. She manages to paint, draw, write, and even ride a bike, all the while using her feet with the same fine motor skills you would need if you were using your hands. She's got an extremely determined character and never complains about her disability. She also enjoys doing ballet, and at a young age, her parents realized that she was special. They tried feeding her an ice cream cone, but she snatched it up with her feet and started eating it on her own. SOPHI is actually one of 10 adopted siblings, and she likes to help her blind sister Lexi get around, as well as always be there for her other siblings. Her parents certainly have their hands full, as all of the children are disabled. SOPHI's family is inspired by her, and she has shown that she's determined to make it through life with little to no issues. Which one of these kids do you think is the most impressive? Let us know in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to never miss out on future content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.